Hey, it's James here from goodguitarist.com, and today I want to show you two strumming patterns that can help you overcome rhythm and strumming issues that I often see in older beginners. It involves building your internal rhythm. A lot of people skip that step. They just try strumming downs and ups and all that stuff right away. But we can learn to feel the rhythm inside, and it solves a lot of the problems. Really quick before we get started, if you enjoyed today's lesson and you want to take it a step further, I have a free crash course. It's completely free. All you have to do is visit my webpage, sign up for the course. You can get a workbook too. It's a 2-week video course that goes over all the fundamentals, whether you're a fresh beginner or what I call an eternal beginner, somebody who's really been trying, but you just can't seem to leave that beginner phase. It'll help you learn not only the skills, but you're going to learn some songs along the way. So definitely check that out after the lesson. I want to start off with a really simple pattern. It goes like this. I'm just doing downstrokes as I count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I notice a lot of, especially beginner tutorials, are just like, here's the pattern, down, down, up, down, up, or whatever it may be. And you just focus on the down and up strokes. This is the reverse of that. We're just going to focus on the counting and how it ties into the motion of your arm, because the counting is what glues the strumming to the actual song, right? To the rhythm of the song. And we're going to make really small repetitive motions. That's the key here. I was playing an E minor chord. I'm actually going to mute the strings. I'm just going to lightly touch the strings. And then I'm just going to make really small motions. I'm just kind of flicking my wrist. I'm moving my arm as well. I find if you only move one thing, it causes tension. Your whole arm kind of moves. Not a lot, but just a little bit, It's like your arm's like rubber, it kind of just bounces. And you just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And as you're doing this, your number one priority isn't the counting, it isn't to strum correctly, it's to stay loose. Keep a loose arm. When we look at what our hand is actually doing, it's moving in an oval. So I go in and down, and then I come out and up, and I'm making like this little egg oval shape, It's not technically going back and forth, because if I just went back and forth, it would make an upstroke as well. So I make this tight little oval, and I follow that little orbit the whole time. And don't let your arm tense up. It's worth it to be a little less accurate if it means staying loose, because that'll make your rhythm sound a little bit better. Going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can hear when somebody tightens up, just like when somebody is nervous. You can hear it in their voice, and you can hear it in your playing too. And once you're able to just count as you do this, you'll want to experiment going slow and 2 and 3 and 4 and going a little bit faster 2 and 3. And there's going to be a point where it's too fast. Like if I try to go as fast as I can, it starts to fall apart, right? And you don't want to go too fast because it trains you to tense up. But if you go too slow, you'll be thinking about it too much. Imagine a professional basketball player. They throw like 1,000 free throws in practice and they're all perfect. But as soon as it's the big game, and if they make this shot, they win the championship, the guy starts thinking about how his arm is moving and starts thinking about the motions too much, and then he misses. There's your logical thinking brain, and then there's the automatic brain, your cerebellum. And it's the same deal here. We want to make this an automatic motion programmed into our little automatic brain, right? And at first you'll think about it, but then you're going to be able to just kind of do it without thinking about it. So you can focus on the lyrics of the song or the chords or whatever other aspect, right? Either way, you try going slow, fast, and everywhere in between. And you'll want to add some counting once you're really used to the motion. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we can count in a specific way. We can make shorter sounds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that'll make our strumming feel tighter, versus 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's a bit looser and it's not as accurate rhythmically as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and far as some real world application, let's say you want to play Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young. Like, that's the pattern for the verse, you know. There's a we need a And if you're a fan of music from the 90s, I think that pretty much covers like half of all songs. You know, so many grunge and rock tunes of that era use this pattern almost exclusively. Either way, this is a great calibration exercise, both for counting and for getting your arm to move consistently while staying loose. Now, this next one that I'm going to show you will involve a larger strumming motion. So this will train your arm to move with the right velocity, learning to swing your arm down and up with minimal tension. And that's not something that you hear about often, but everybody who can strum comfortably is definitely doing it. So let's figure it out. Our pattern goes like this. I'll break that down. We're going down, 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 up, down, up. And as far as the counting, we were going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but let's pare it back. Let's just go to 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to treat the down up like a single motion. When you do it that way, each beat has a motion assigned to it. Beat 1 is a downstroke. I'm going to mute the strings again. Beat 1 is a downstroke. Beat 2 is a downstroke. Beat 3 is a down up. And beat 4 is a down up. And as we say that pattern, the strokes of the pattern, down, 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 up, we could also count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, each beat has a stroke assigned to it if we treat a down up like a single entity. To practice it, the first thing I would do, believe it or not, doesn't even involve the guitar at all. I would just say the strumming pattern. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. You say it like 1,000,000 times until you can do it in your sleep. We could even do that with the metronome. I'm at 60 beats per minute here. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. You know, the metronome clicks along at a perfectly even pace. We say down on the first and second clicks, and then down up on the third click and the fourth click. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. Then we make our arm do it. We just tell our arm what to do. We're already saying it. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. It's important to take your time and go slow enough that the motions are smooth and even, but not go too slow so that we lose the momentum of it. You know, you want to focus on a loose arm. I actually have a ton of strumming tips in a separate video, 8 strumming mistakes that I often see people make and how to correct them. I'll put a link to that in the corner. And when it comes to getting your arm to really feel smooth during this whole thing, I have another trick that really helps, especially with that down up at the end. Instead of counting or saying the pattern, let's say watermelon. You know, there's 4 strokes, right? Down, up, that's 4 strokes total. Watermelon has 4 syllables. And when we put it that way, watermelon, that one word kind of ties those 2 down ups into one big thing and helps smooth out the down up motion that happens on beats 3 and 4. You know, it forces you to move your arm with the correct velocity. Watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. You know, you get used to that, and then you can add I like watermelon. So I like, that's the first 2 downstrokes. I like watermelon. I like watermelon. Down, 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 up, down, up. I like watermelon. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and, you know, so there's 3 ways we can vocalize this as we play it. And at this point, I recommend starting slow and gradually speeding up to find the point where you max out. And this is where the metronome really shines. You know, because instead of just guessing how fast or slow you can go, you can just see a real number on the front of the metronome, right? So we're at 60 beats per minute. That's slow. You just try saying it at first, just so you can lock into the rhythm. You listen to the metronome, I like watermelon. I like watermelon. Until you feel yourself really like in there with the metronome. You know, you're not going faster or slower than it. Then you add your arm. I like watermelon. I like watermelon. And you do that a bunch of times till you're feeling good. Then you speed the thing up. Let's go to 70. You know, just 10 higher. And first, we say it once again because we want to lock our internal rhythm along to the metronome. I like watermelon. 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 You know, I'm just doing it a couple times because I have done this practice, you know, many, many times over the course of years. And, you know, you keep speeding it up till you find a point where, once again, I like watermelon. I like watermelon. I like watermelon. I like watermelon. You go to the point where you feel like you're losing control, and then you come back to where you have some control, and that's going to be the highest tempo that you do. And you go from the slow tempo to the highest controlled tempo that you can do. And every time you switch tempo, first you say it so that you're feeling the rhythm, and then you get your arm involved. And now the next step would be to get 100% comfortable doing everything we talked about in this lesson, and then trying this with some real tunes. And I have a ton of songs on this channel that will use these patterns or very similar ones. This is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel so you'll receive all the updates. You can also visit my webpage, goodguitarist.com. I have a song finder on my website. If you just click song lessons in the top menu, that you can filter through tunes based on chords or what strumming patterns they contain, among other things. I'll put a link to that down below. And if you want to kind of walk through the process, like I said, I have that free crash course where we learn a couple songs and all the basics, but I also have a complete beginner course, Learn Guitar Once and For All, that's designed to take you from absolute beginner to confident strummer. Through that course, I've already been able to help thousands of people learn to play guitar, and more specifically, be able to play the songs they love and be the person who can just pull out the guitar in the living room and play songs at Christmas time or around the campfire during the summer. So I'll put a link down below for that if you're interested. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching the lesson through to this point. I'd love to hear how this whole strumming thing is working out for you, so please leave a comment. Otherwise, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.